What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time for a slightly late review of Pixar's latest film, Finding Dory. Just like with my Captain America Civil War review, this is going to be a spoiler review of the film. If you haven't seen the movie, I recommend that you go check it out if you like animated movies. It's one of the best out there right now. Probably one of the best there's been. I mean, Pixar usually makes really damn good movies. This is one of them. So go check it out if you haven't seen it. If you don't care about spoilers, or if you have seen the film, go ahead and keep watching. So for those of you guys who don't know, Finding Nemo is one of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a great adventure. It has great animation, great characters, really good heart to it. It's just a fantastic movie. The comedy's great. So I love Finding Nemo, right? So I'm going into this movie thinking, well, this movie's got to be really, really good. I mean, you're following up something as beloved as Finding Nemo. I think a lot of people would say it's one of Pixar's best movies. So you got to follow it up with something strong. And they definitely followed it up with something strong. So for those of you guys going into this movie worried that it's going to be the same story as Finding Nemo, because that's what the story of the trailer, that's like what the trailers kind of show you, don't worry. The trailers are misleading. They're trying to keep the real story under wraps. Dory, I mean, you know in the trailer Dory's trying to find her parents, but the way it seems in the trailers is that Dory's trying to find her parents, and Marlin and Nemo are trying to find her, so she's the one who's lost, and it's going to be about Marlin and Nemo finding her. And that's not the case. It's more about Dory. She's the main character. Unlike Cars 2, where it made no fucking... I mean, Cars 1 was already weak. But unlike Cars 2, where it makes no sense to make the side character the main character, especially one as shitty as Maynard, or Mater, whatever the fuck his name is, this really works. This works flawlessly. She gets a ton of great characterization, a ton of screen time, almost too much screen time, and I'll get into that when I get into my flaws, but... It's more of a wild goose chase of her trying to find her parents with the help of the octopus named Hank, aka the best character in the fucking movie, voiced by Al Bundy himself, Ed O'Neill, and then the other story is Marlin and Nemo trying to find her and get into this place. And there's a lot of on-land stuff, because it all takes place in this one marine biology, this marine rehabilitation center, and it all works. You know, you think it's kind of boring all being in one location, but there's a lot of cool on-land stuff. There's a lot of cool, yeah, I'll call them action set pieces in the kids' touching pool where you can touch the fish. That was really funny. The way that whole scene was depicted, and the scene before they get to the marine biology place where they're fighting the giant squid in the tanker. That was really, really cool. And overall, it was just... had some really good, legitimate, like, action moments. It was kind of crazy, but it was really fun. CGI is, of course, absolutely amazing. It's fucking, it's Pixar. I mean, a lot of CGI movies that come out nowadays have really, really good visuals, but Pixar especially just goes above and beyond. They're absolutely fantastic. So the visuals are a no-brainer, obviously. They're going to look amazing. The music's great. So I guess to go on to the characters, like I said, Dory's the most focused on character in the movie. And it's because they focus a lot on her memory loss, and it's not done... I mean, it's done comedically for sure, but when you see a lot of her childhood flashbacks, and the childhood flashbacks, I mean, she is fucking adorable. It's kind of ridiculous how fucking cute she is, but anyways, watching her as a kid forget things and seeing her parents, like, no, you did fine, sweetie. It's like, it's kind of... It's done for laughs to a certain extent, but you can also tell, I think they really want you to feel like, oh man, this is kind of hard to watch, like... seeing this little kid just forget stuff like instantly and have the parents try to comfort her and everything, and it's got a good emotional core to it, and her memory loss, especially at the end of the movie when she loses Marlin and Dory, or Marlin and Nemo, and she's panicking and just forgetting everything. It's a really good power scene for the emotion of the movie, and then she finds her parents, and you know, it's a really... The movie really does have that, not adult tone that some Pixar movies have, but it has that mature emotional tone that a lot of Pixar movies have, and it really, really works there. And, yeah, because when she hits rock bottom and she's just panicking and everything, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, Marlin and Dory are on that, or Marlin and Nemo are on that truck, and they're on a time clock, and she's just panicking and not knowing what to do and forgetting everything, even them, to a certain extent, and it's just like, Jesus. So it's really, really good. A lot of good pressure at the end of the movie. The side characters in this one, though, I don't think they're as strong as the previous movie. Hank the fucking octopus. Oh, man, this dude's funny. I can't quote him. I can't quote him because a lot of it has to do with the delivery of his lines that are so great. But he is just fucking, he's so funny. He was the MVP of the entire thing. His stealth was hilarious and fantastic. He was awesome. He was a really good character. He had his own little character development and character arc and everything. Marlin and Nemo aren't given much to do in this movie, though. That's my one big flaw of this movie, is Marlin says something mean to Dory, and he realizes it was wrong, and Nemo kind of hounds him about it, and that's pretty much their side of the story from a character arc standpoint. The rest of their side of the story, okay, so they get to the California Bay, they get to the place, they talk to these sea lions. And the sea lions are like, oh yeah, we're going to call over some help, and they start making the noise. And then they cut over to Dory, and Dory has this big, long scene of progression and moving and talking to Hank and some comedy. And then when we cut back to Marlin and Nemo, they're still just sitting there waiting for the fucking thing to come help them. And then that happens again when they land in this little toy pond with like toy fish inside of it. And they're trying to call for help from their bird that was giving them a ride. Cuts over to Dory. Dory gets a lot of progression. Things are moving. It's cool. And then you cut back to Marlin and Nemo. And yeah, they do have a talk with each other about, you know, what he said to Dory and everything. But they're still in the same location. Marlin and Nemo did not get much to do in this movie. I felt like they were there just to kind of pad out the runtime. They do have a tiny little story arc, but, you know, for being the main character of the previous movie, he really is given nothing but a few really funny, cynical lines of dialogue. Yeah, and Nemo was just, he was there. I guess he had to be there, but he was just kind of whatever. It was a really, really good movie. It was fantastic. Those, like, my minor gripes are, like, when they started talking whale, I thought that went on a little too long towards the end of the movie, like in the pipes, when they're giving Dory directions. Because it's clear they can talk to each other without doing that. So the fact that they were doing it was just to be funny, and it went on a little too long. Minor nitpick. And then, of course, Marlin and Nemo not having much to do, I kind of think hurts the story structure a little bit. Overall, the pacing of the movie. But overall, it's still going to get a solid 9.5 out of 10 out of me. I honestly think this movie is as good as the original, because I try to stack them up to each other, and I'm like, the Dory memory stuff and the childhood stuff is really, really good, but then the original had these really memorable side characters and this great adventure across the ocean. I love the montage of what Marlin's been doing, being told to every sea creature around the ocean. It's really, really cool, and it's just, and the sharks, and then this one's got Hank, so it's like, I put them right on par with each other, which I was not expecting going into this movie. I was expecting to either like it a little bit less, or for Pixar to just pull that fucking fantastic sequel out of their ass like they did with like Toy Story and just surpass the original. More leaning towards expecting it to be a little worse based on their sequel track record outside of Toy Story, but happy to say I put it right on par with the original Finding Nemo. But what do you guys think of Finding Dory? Have you guys seen it? If you haven't, then you just got spoiled, but clearly you didn't care. But if you're going to see it, you know, tell me if you're going to see it. If you have seen it, tell me what you thought of it in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you like what you've seen here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.